Fantastic, fantastic. And as we're here and there's lots of talent around us, yourself included, who will be speaking on stage, I suppose it brings me to the talent question and brands. How are you guys kind of involved in bringing talent to brands? How easy is that working with you guys? Are you finding that that's a great route to market in terms of advertising campaigns?
Right, so we operate a portfolio of iconic brands, MTV, Nickelodeon, Comedy Central, and by the way, Comedy Central was really a US and European brand as recently as 2 years ago. Now it too is a global brand. It's in India, it's in Africa, it's in all of Latin America, etc. We're in Paramount, and then within those brands we have these iconic characters. Some, might be a SpongeBob, might be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but also as a place where talent can be used. So we work extensively with talent. You talked earlier about Isle of MTV.
Yes.
One of our great events under the MTV brand, and that's a place where we showcase talent. I was recently at an MTV Push, which is our upcoming artist franchise. We did an MTV Push event in Helsinki, Finland, and there we showcased Charlie XCX. And if you haven't seen Charlie, she's fantastic.
Okay.
And that's an example of bringing talent to life through media, and also, of course, having advertisers involved in that. So it's a big part of the equation.
Hi, I'm a producer, and I'm producing a comedy talk show that's daring and is taking chances. You talked about taking creative chances. Can you speak more to that?
Well, the easiest thing to do is to commission a third season or fourth season of a hit, right? And we all wish we had more of those to do, because that's a very predictable outcome. Probably the next easiest thing to do is, and this is from a global perspective, take a concept that works in a country, whether it's the United States or Mexico or what have you, and say that's a format, I'm going to create a locally relevant version, and we do a lot of that. But we need to ensure there's a pipeline for future hits and future formats, and that ultimately starts with, we got to look at new ideas. Now, I didn't grow up being a show picker. That's not, I have things I like, things I dislike, but my taste, if you will, doesn't necessarily inform what the networks are doing, nor should it. But the teams, the creative teams around the world that are running and supporting the brands, that is something they need to do. And we need to make sure, part of it's cultural, like, look, everything's not going to be a hit. We know that. We got to try different kinds of things. We know that. And it's really make sure we have that mindset so that we find the next, ridiculousness, or the next Paw Patrol, or the next Daily Show, now with Trevor Noah, and because that's just part of the game, and there's no playbook for it other than we've got to do some of that. And by the way, I think part of that also is, if I think of different platforms, you have obviously television, you also have short form, and that's probably a place where we could do more to find new ideas and pilot, if you will, in quotes, things, which ultimately could have a life in other places, maybe in television, maybe in film. But it's a philosophy that we just have to know we're in the business of taking risks. By the way, I view it as we're taking risks, not gambling. And the distinction is, gambling is walking into a casino, putting money down, and seeing what happens. Risk-taking is more thoughtful. Why are we trying something? Why we try because we believe in, this writer, or we believe in this idea, or whatever. So as long as someone can articulate to me why they want to do it, that's fine. We can decide if we agree or disagree, and if we agree and we do it and it doesn't work, we still know why we did it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's a great answer, but that's the best I can do.
Bob, I'm going to come to you first. What have you learned from your Indian partner? How has this joint venture evolved?
Well, good morning, or maybe good afternoon, everyone. Well, first, we've learned a lot. If you look at our business, we operate media businesses, as I like to say, anywhere there's a semblance of an economy. So we're active in many parts of the world. Going back, and we had been in India as MTV and Nickelodeon and VH1 since, I believe, around '98. So been in the market for a while, but around 2005, 2006 began looking at the world in general in terms of looking at opportunity, and very quickly landed on the fact that India then, and by the way today, it was a market of great opportunity for media, and we decided we wanted to have a more significant participation. As we did that, one of the things we decided, even though we don't do this in many parts of the world, is we wanted to get in the quote-unquote general entertainment business. You know, while Viacom has tremendous resources in terms of a historic and leading Hollywood film studio, a portfolio of cable networks, in terms of participating at a larger scale in India, we decided that it would make sense to have a strong local partner. That wasn't about money per se. That was much more about a real connection with the culture. Because, by the way, our business here was run by Indians, not expats. So we already had local market employees. But we wanted to find a connected company, an entrepreneurial company. And we talked, obviously, to a variety of people, ultimately landing on Network 18 as the partner of choice. Then we got to the hard work of actually creating Viacom 18 in our vision of really becoming one of the leading diversified media and entertainment companies based in India. And to the point about we're the only surviving JV, at least at the moment, you know, you could say, well, why is that? And I would say it's not enough to have a shared vision. You also need to find the right kind of cultural and management fit, and I believe we found that, and the facts would say we found that in Network 18, and then be committed to the hard work and roller coaster of doing it, because you know, while we were very fortunate that we had great initial success with Colors, where we went from 0 to number 2 in something like 2 months after launch, something nobody, including ourselves, saw coming. You know, the reality is life is a lot longer than a couple months, and you know, the venture has not only flourished, but it's also had its challenges, and therefore been forced to evolve with this changing market. As you mentioned, you know, we not only have a bunch of national services on the targeted side, and MTV, Nick, VH1. We have Colors. We then decided that we wanted to get involved in the film production business. We have a small film unit. We obviously launched additional multi-channel networks in the form of Comedy Central, Sonic, which is a Nickelodeon derivative, Nick Jr., and we continue, and then we took the major step associated with digitization of creating IndiaCast. And we continue to look at opportunities. So, you know, this has, I wouldn't say this has been a long journey because, you know, 5 years is not that long. But it's been a great journey, and one, you know, fortunately of tremendous success, and one of continuing commitment. One of the things, you know, if you think of Viacom, and I'm biased, but it always had one of the great cultures in the entertainment business. You know, certainly, you think of MTV Networks or Nickelodeon or Comedy Central, you know, that was an incredible culture. And there certainly are elements of that left, but it's definitely been beaten down. And so as we look to take the company forward, the employees and you know, I believe in listening to them and communicating with them and creating an environment where people can take, if you will, creative chances and drive things they're passionate about, that's a big part of it. And so across all this, I think we've started to make progress, but we obviously still have a little ways to go.
You know, let me ask you a question. You mentioned personnel changes. You know, it's an interesting time right now where clearly a lot of media companies that care about cross-platform stuff, whether it's digital or whether it's ad sales or branded content or other things. I see that you brought in Sarah as a Levy from Nickelodeon as the COO, and there have been some other changes at MTV Network. Is one of the challenges how you can work across the company? Because I know for a lot of the people in this room who deal with various divisions, you know, at times, like any media company, it's not easy.
Yeah, I think, you know, in a way it goes to the culture and it certainly goes to leadership, but one of the things that was true about Viacom circa 2016 is it had become very siloed. You know, the studio operates Paramount Pictures really almost totally independently from the pay networks, and even the brands operate pretty independently from each other. And you know, to me, that's a big missed opportunity, that we really need to work on ways where we can leverage our combined scale, whether that's finding creative product that, you know, might be better suited on one network versus another, and clearly on the commercial side of the business. And so part of enabling that is a vision to do it, and then it's also bringing people in to, quite frankly, help get that done. And so, to your point on Sarah, Sarah I've known for, I don't know, she's here 18 years or so, a long time. A great business partner of Seema Zargami on the Nickelodeon side. And I thought this was an opportunity to work with her to help bring some real collaboration, if you will, across MTV and Nickelodeon and Comedy Central and Spike on a global basis.